5 seconds to go. Start. Per contra, it is contended by Mr. Nidhesh Gupta, learned senior counsel for the respondent, that the failure of the appellant to implead her son as a co-plaintiff, or at least to examine him as a witness, coupled with her own admissions as PW2, falsified her case. Once it was found that the payments to the respondents were authorized, and once it was established through third party mediators that there was a settlement, the appellant plaintiff was bound to fail, and that therefore the judgment of the High Court does not warrant any interference. We have carefully considered the rival contentions and have also gone through the pleadings, evidence, and the judgments of all the three courts. As we have seen earlier, the first suit was for recovery of a sum of rupees 5,50,000 which remained unrefunded out of the amount of rupees 10,50,000 allegedly paid by way of loan. The receipt of rupees 10,50,000 by way of check dated 18th November 2003 was admitted by the respondents. Similarly, the repayment of rupees 5 lakh by the respondents to the plaintiff appellant on 7th August 2006 is admitted by the appellant. The only defense set up by the respondents was that the payment of rupees 5 lakh made by them on 7th August 2006 was by way of full and final settlement. To show that there was a full and final settlement, the respondents examined two third party mediators, but no receipt was taken by the respondents from the appellant that the payment of rupees 5 lakh on 7th August 2006 was in full and final settlement. There was also no written memorandum of compromise settlement when payment of a certain amount of money and the repayment of only a portion of the same are admitted, the party pleading that such a part repayment was in full and final settlement has a huge burden cast upon him to show that there was a settlement. Oral evidence of the so called third party mediators is not sufficient to establish full and final settlement in cases of this nature, where all transactions have happened only through banking channels and the defendants claimed that there were business transactions. It is unbelievable that the respondents who reached such a settlement failed to have the same recorded in black and white, either in the form of a memo or in the form of a receipt. Interestingly, Exhibit D3 filed by the respondents is an affidavit purportedly signed and verified by the appellant's son on 8th March 2006, both on his behalf and on behalf of his mother, the appellant, agreeing to treat a sum of rupees 30 lakh paid by the appellant as a payment made out of love and affection. If on 8th March 2006 the appellant and her son were gracious enough to treat a huge amount of rupees 30 lakh as one made out of love and affection, there could have been no occasion for a dispute requiring mediation at the intervention of third parties on 7th August 2006, resulting in the payment of rupees 5 lakh by the respondents to the appellant in full and final settlement. Stop.